Welcome to Sisters-in-Laws TV. I'm your host, Erica M. McAfee. And October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, a month dedicated to honoring and remembering our babies who have gone to heaven far too soon. I'm excited to present to you a series on surviving pregnancy loss. I know many of the stories you may hear may be triggering, so press pause, take a break, and come back to hear these powerful stories from sisters-in-law who have survived pregnancy loss. Well, welcome to Surviving Pregnancy Loss. I'm your host, Erica McAfee, and with me today, we have Lesley. Thank you for joining us, Lesley.
Thank you for having me.
I would love for you to share with our viewers and our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I currently am a marketing manager for an accounting software company based in Toronto, Canada. So I don't think you've had many guests on from Toronto. So hopefully I'm your first, and I'm glad to be your first because we need to represent the sisters up here.
Yes, no, we haven't. Calgary, the other side of Canada, and the Montreal area.
Right.
But no one from Toronto, so I'm happy that we have y'all on the map now.
Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So take us back on your journey to motherhood and share with us your lost story.
To be honest, the last 5 years have been a blur. I've been pregnant in 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018, of which I have given birth to 2 boys during that time, and both of them passed away in my second trimester. So I haven't had an easy journey. It's been difficult for my husband and I. It seems as though in the last couple of years, it's just been grief after grief after grief.
Yes, understood. So share more with us about your losses. Were they due to like cervical incompetence, or do you actually know the reason why?
So for our first pregnancy, that was only a month in, so not sure. For our second pregnancy, our son, somehow I contracted E. coli, and my son took all of it. So in my second trimester, I went into early labor and was able to see him born. He was born and he was smiling, and he passed away shortly after my husband's hands. With my third, I think I was 8 weeks. And then with my fourth, I was again in my second trimester, and I had a blood clot on my cervix.
Wow. So share with us just that resilience to continue to try again between each of those losses, and how have you gone through your grieving process and healing process over these last 4 or 5 years?
Sorry. I think it's because God has shown me so many times that I'm going to be a mother, and without my faith, without the power of prayer, without people praying for me, I really don't think I could have got through the last couple of years. There were times when I questioned my own sanity just because the pain was overwhelming. But at the same time, like I said, I believe that God has me destined to be a mother.
Yes, I can feel that, and definitely can empathize with you on God's promise to you, and knowing that this is something that He's promised, and you're going to definitely do all that you can to prepare yourself, prepare your body, prepare your mind to become a mother. So I would love for you to share about how this has affected not only your relationship with God, but your relationship with your husband, your partner?
So I'll definitely say, I think after the loss of my son in 2016, I was angry. Um, I was bitter with God to know that He had put us through this twice at that time. Um, and I know we had our reverend come to our house and prayed with us and gave us counseling and let us know that it was okay for me to be angry and that we didn't do anything to deserve this. So again, like I said, it was the power of prayer that got me through it. With regards to how my husband and I think it's brought us closer, only because nobody else understands our grief but the two of us. My husband was able to see our children be born. He held our sons, especially our first son. Um, we were able to spend the day holding our son. So he was able to look at him and see him and recognize all his features in him. Um, so that experience definitely brought us closer. Yesterday was actually the 4th anniversary of my son's passing. So yesterday was a hard day for me. But through this, I know that, again, he's an angel watching over us and that we will be blessed to be parents.
Yes, so let's go into that, because October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, and every October we celebrate and honor our losses and our babies who have gone to heaven before us, far too soon. So, what ways have you memorialized your losses over the years? Obviously, I'm sure you remember the day that babies have passed on, but are there any other ways that you have honored your babies over the years?
Well, we have planted a tree in our backyard um, after the loss of our first son. So I think, especially in Canada, we get winters, really bad winters. Spring, it's a time to see everything bloom again. And I always say to my friends, once there's life, there's hope. And that's what gets me through it. I also honor my son by doing things like this, where I get to speak to other women. I vowed that I wanted to help others, Black women, especially I'm from the Caribbean as well. So in the Caribbean, we don't talk about this. Everything is pushed under the rug. We're taught to just deal with it and move on. It's not until I lost my first son, I even realized one of my aunts had a stillborn. I had never even been told because we don't talk about it. So for me, just speaking about it, trying to help other women, I have several friends who also have gone through loss. And I try to be an ear for them because I know I didn't really have it when I was going through what I went through.
Yes, understood. And I love that that is what your mission is to do in Toronto and all over the world, because there's so much power in sharing our story, healing for ourselves, and then also just healing on the other end, because you just never know what part of your story may resonate with someone, and that may put them further on their own healing journey where they're pushed into sharing their story with someone else to help someone else. So I'm so happy that you're able to share openly and help other women, because that is such a tremendous part of healing and honoring our babies.
And can I say, I remember when I lost my second son, um, I found your podcast, and sometimes that would get me through the night, just listening to other women who knew what I was dealing with and who had experienced it. Just somebody who understood, because for me, it was hard talking to another woman who had not gone through loss, because sometimes they brush it off because they don't want to see you cry. But to have the stories of women who felt my pain, that helped me get through a lot of it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, because I think that it is what I needed in order to get me through the next part of my journey to motherhood, battling infertility. And I knew that I needed to hear stories in order to normalize it, but to also give me the strength to move on and persevere on, especially since I knew that that was my ultimate goal, was to become a mother again someday, some way, God knows how, right? But I knew that I needed to hear the story. I needed to hear how people got through those tough times, but also were able to still get up and go to work every day. We're still able to get connected back in their faith, which is very difficult for a lot of a lot of us who do believe in God, who are Christian, and do believe in that God is the controller of this, but we feel so out of control because we didn't have a hand in this situation. So being able to hear other women and men share that, who look like me, who share commonalities and culture as me, makes me feel, it gives me a sense of fulfillment that I didn't think I knew I needed until I got it. And when I got it, I didn't want to let it go. So I'm so happy that you're a part of our community. So how have you been coping with COVID-19? I mean, obviously there's so much going on here in the States with civil unrest, racial injustice and inequity, and just all the other craziness. And I can only imagine how much of what you all see in Canada is reflected from what happens here in the US.
Well, the funny thing is my husband's American. So a lot of what's going on, he's from Detroit. So we've seen how it's affected a lot of his friends and his family. For us, thankfully, it hasn't been that bad here. We were under lockdown for the first couple of months, but our cases are nowhere as near as what it is in the US. So we're still able to function. This time period has been a time of reflection. I think it's been a blessing in the sense that if you didn't hold your family close before, you hold them a lot closer now. It's given us the opportunity to have or be more faithful and to truly believe that everything has happened for a reason. So.
Yes, I love that. And I think that when we don't normally have moments of just stillness, right?
Exactly.
And to be able to have that throughout COVID-19, it's made us be introspective and really reflect on, where we are, our feelings in the past, where we are feeling now, and then really look forward to in the future and those next steps. Mm-hmm. So I would love for you to share with us just kind of where you are on your current journey, and what are you looking forward to?
So I also suffer from PCOS. So getting pregnant hasn't been easy for me, which is another reason why I think the losses hit so hard, just because I know how hard it's been to get pregnant. Right now, I'm trying to change my diet, trying to focus on controlling my PCOS because I'd love to, like I said, be a mother. We're also looking at other ways in which we might experience parenthood, whether that's via surrogacy, via adoption. We're just opening up our boundaries, not limiting, because like I said, we both want to be parents.
Yes, I love that you all are looking forward to, no matter what way you all become parents, you're just looking at the different options that are out there. And I think that that is what we can all hope for in our circumstances, is that we just continue to look for different ways God is going to bless us and surrender to that. I think that's the hardest part, though. That's the hardest part for me.
Exactly.
Surrender and say, just like, any way, God, you're going to bless me, I'm going to be satisfied. I know that this is your promise. I know that this is what you said. It's just, I may not be, in alignment on how we get there, but I know, and I'm going to trust you that we're going to.
And I think the hardest part too is that nobody really speaks to you about how to deal with pregnancy once you've lost a pregnancy. I know with all of my pregnancies, it hasn't been a joyous occasion for each of my pregnancy, because there's always that fear of what if, or if I feel a certain cramp, is this normal? Am I miscarrying again? So I haven't enjoyed any of my pregnancies since the first one. So that's been very difficult as well.
Yes, being able to remove all the nervousness and fears and anxiety that may be bubbling up in a pregnancy after loss, and really truly go through the pregnancy with peace.
Exactly.
That is the most difficult part of pregnancy after loss. And it's definitely going to be a challenge as you navigate this new journey. But one thing I do know is that God did not make you this promise and is not going to fail you. So I just want you to continue to hold on to hope and continue to reflect, do what you need to do physically, and then strengthen that mental muscle, because we know that majority of the pregnancy after loss, all of that maternal mental health issues that rise up, is all about just how we feel and how we carry our stress in the world. And once you let that go, God's going to bless you with a peaceful pregnancy so that you can enjoy it and not be full of fear and full of nervousness and anxiety on every little ailment that you may have, which could be just typical for pregnancy. One thing that I teach and train in my doula training course is how we carry that with us, and our babies feel that, as much as we don't think about how the stress that we carry throughout pregnancy. So that's something to be mindful of, is that, you want your body to be fully relieved or fully stress-free, so that it creates a nurturing environment for your womb, for your baby, as your baby grows, especially for you to nourish your baby and feed your baby all of the things it needs as you try to conceive and get pregnant and stay pregnant. So I'm excited for you. I already know that we are going to count it joy. We are going to speak life into this womb and continue to lift you in prayer as you navigate these next steps, because I know that it's painful. I know that it's difficult. I know that you feel forsaken sometimes, especially with God's promise. But we have all been there, a part of this journey, and we know that you are going to get your rainbow baby on the other side.
Thank you so much.
So I would love for you to share with the listeners and the viewers, where can they connect with you after this episode and this goes live?
So my name is Lesley Eastmond on Facebook. You can connect with me there. I also have a group called I Am My Sister's Keeper. It was created, like I said, I made a promise that I was going to honor my sons by helping others. It's a small group, but I encourage people to participate. I share stories of loss, hope, particularly surrounding Black women. I shared a lot of Erica's posts in this group as well, because I know a lot of us, we don't really have a network in Toronto. So I'm hoping to start that and build that so that we can talk to each other, cry with each other, lean on each other for support as we're going through infertility, infant loss, all of the above.
So last question, I just realized I did not ask you this, is truly, how are you surviving pregnancy loss?
Day by day. you can tell by my voice today, I'm emotional only because, like I mentioned, I was grieving my son's loss or his anniversary yesterday of his death. Every day is a new day. And like I try to keep on telling myself, once there's life, there's hope. And I try to put one foot ahead of the other and just move on because, like I said, I want to be a mom. And to your point, I can't be a mom if I'm holding on to all this negative energy inside my body. So that's how I'm trying to cope.
Yes, I love it. And it is one thing that can preach to all of us is that this pandemic may have taught us all something different, but one thing that I can say that we all have learned is just how to sit still and truly reflect in some way, shape, or form on what this next steps are going to look like, no matter where our journeys are, whether that's through work, your professional, personal life, growing your family, going through the to conceive phase, whether it's adoption or surrogacy, is that sometimes we have to be still for God to truly speak to us and for us to take action. And for me, it's been a lot of self-reflection on what can I do to really be at peace with where I am in my own personal journey to motherhood. And then, am I okay with just having one, And that's taken a long time to get to because obviously, you want to grow your family in so many different kinds of ways. And it's being a part, taking the time out during this still time where we're kind of stuck and can't be in the busyness of life has taught me that I have to release that and move that negative energy out for positive things to come my way. And that is where I am right now. And I hope that as you navigate and move forward in your next journey, this next steps of your journey, that you think about, what other things that you may need to let go, but all the things that you also need to hold on to, because obviously there are parts of your grief and healing journey that you need to keep with you so that you can, it can humble you and remind you that God is still in control.
Amen.
Amen. Well, we already found out where we're going to find you, but just drop them again for everybody. Where can they find you on Facebook and Instagram?
On Facebook, I'm Lesley Eastmond, and you can find me also at I Am My Sister's Keeper on Facebook.
Yes. So thank you so much, Lesley, for sharing
Thank
your
you.
story all the way from Toronto. All there.
You need to come up one year.
Yes, absolutely. Carnival.
Exactly.
Thank you again, sis.
Thank you.